Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I wanted to just do I can't even think. I actually had a doctor's visit just a little while ago and kind of annoyed, I'm not going to lie. I went to an internalist that I've seen since my tolerance when I got real sick and I didn't know what was going on. He ran everything under the sun. It's in probably one of my other videos, but everything from, genetics to cholesterol and inflammation in the system and all this other crazy stuff that I don't really know much about. And the only thing that came back in 2016 is that I do have like an MTHFR mutation, which is where my body doesn't I guess convert folic acid the right way. I don't know a lot about it. I researched it back in 2016 when I found that I had it. And basically all they do is they give you like medicine. They give you like a supplement every day that just helps you convert the folic acid and etc. But I guess you can end up with like anxiety and depression. And as we all know, everything can cause that. So I went to go see him today because I hadn't talked to him since I found out that this was tolerance and an Ativan problem. And as you can understand, he didn't dismiss Ativan, but he said that I have other issues going on because I've had a total hysterectomy. I can't take hormones because they make me sick. It's not good for me to be 38 years old and young and not doing hormones. Not taking the methylfolate, which is the folic acid helper, the pill that helps convert folic acid. But to be honest, those aren't like conditions though. Like, I get he's a doctor and everything, but when my dose is due, I'm withdrawing, okay? So I get that people like me with this mutation tend to absorb or metabolize medicines quicker. Okay. Maybe that's true, and if that holds theory, that's great, but that doesn't stop benzos from being as addictive as they are. I know, excuse me, people who don't even have this mutation, and they're professionals. Speaking of one that I can think offhand was a cardiac doctor. I'm not sure if she still is, but she went through benzo withdrawal like I am. So I'm not really like understanding the connection with, you know what I'm saying? Like, okay, maybe it's hitting me harder than maybe it would somebody else. That's very true. Genetics play a huge role anyhow, with or without this mutation. They play a huge role in how we absorb things, how we absorb food, how we absorb prescriptions, medications, over-the-counter things. If somebody's allergic to amoxicillin and penicillin, which my mom is. But I don't think having this mutation is the reason why I have weird thoughts in my head. Everything is disrupted from my sleep to my mood to headaches to my teeth falling out to nerve numbness in my spine, my arms, my legs. Like, no. This is a sedative. This is what benzodiazepines do. So, again, this was supposed to be an 8-month tapering update, but this is more now turned into like literally I'm pissed off and this is a rant. Like, I love my doctor, don't get me wrong. My primary and my internal doctor are the best people that I've been met through this journey. Not with, obviously my group, but I'm saying in the professional world. But it's just, I don't understand why doctors are so, what's the word? Like, they maybe don't have time to see what's going on in the world outside of them because they're so stuck in this world to where they're in a practice where they're taking care of sick people every day, that their job is to get them better or to figure out what is causing XYZ, which I totally understand. Like I said, I love my doctors, but today's response wasn't what I thought it was going to be. Does that make sense? Like, I really thought with him being in the medical, business for so long and in practice that he would believe me if nobody else did. So, but again, I'm not mad at him. He is willing to help me with some other things, and maybe those things could boost my mood. It probably could help with maybe the depression, that is there, could be there from, hormonal issues. I get that. I agree. I'm not disagreeing with what he says. But I don't believe that a majority of what I'm going through has to do with the MTHFR mutation. And if y'all don't know what it is, excuse me, I've been going through the voice in and out. And again, I don't think that's a hormonal thing. I started this with benzos, just when I started tapering, like the sinus, the drainage, all this nasty, cruddy stuff. So, but yeah, so you guys can look it up. I'll put it on the screen. It's MTHFR mutation. I thought I only carried one. Maybe I do carry two. My daughter does as well. But the funny thing is, like, my daughter's been on all kinds of antipsychotics. Y'all know that she's been, and that will be another video hopefully coming this weekend with her and I doing some Q&As and kind of her journey of where she has been so young with antipsychotics. But my daughter's been on things from Prozac to Seroquel to Sertraline to amphetamines to, just all kinds of medications, and they don't affect her, which is really weird because I can't even take Lexapro. Like, I collapsed on the floor in my kitchen where you're looking behind me. Like, no joke. So I don't really know what the connection is with that. He did today do a swab in both of my cheeks to determine I guess it's the metabolic or metabolism test to see what drugs you should be on and what drugs you should absolutely not take. So that was done today, and I'll have that in 2 weeks. But, again, just real shocked. I mean, to be honest, there was a student in the room before my doctor came in, and he came out, and it was so weird. But when I had talked to him about benzos and why I am where I am at, he said, oh yeah, they act on the GABA receptors. So obviously he was learning something, which is a positive. Like, it's not a huge change, but obviously that was pretty good coming from a student in an internal doctor's office. So I have to have a little hope there. But like I said, I get doctors don't want to, blame medicine and other doctors. And the minute that they see that you have, a illness or thyroid or diabetes or, stomach issues, they want to blame. I get that. But with me, like I said, really physically, there's nothing else wrong with me. I don't take drugs on the daily. Like, he had asked, why aren't you taking supplements for your bones? And I'm just like, well, my family doctor even told me that if you don't need calcium, you shouldn't really be on it, because all it's going to do is cause your kidneys and bladder to work overtime when they don't need to be, because everything, secretes and goes through the bladder and leaves the body when you don't need it. But I've had my calcium levels checked and they're all great. So I do eat well, you know what I'm saying? So I'm just a firm believer, if you don't need it in your body, don't put it in. Because again, just because it's a supplement, supplements can do more damage than people realize, especially if you don't need them. And if your body, like me, has a mutation that you may not even know you have, because millions of us have it, but you know what I mean? Like, things can affect you differently. I think a long time ago I tried like B12, and I heard like there's a lot of different B12s. I don't really remember the one I was on, but excuse me, they claimed that it helps with like your memory, anxiety, depression. Well, when I took it, like, I had to get straight off of it, no joke. I had migraines so bad that I thought somebody was like clamping my brain, and once I got off of it, they went away. So I kind of know my body is one of those bodies that is weird. I kind of knew that from day one. Even with birth control, the day that I took it was the day that I was sick. Like, no joke. I would never lie about that. I was so sick to my stomach. I was nauseous. I was sweating. I felt like the hot flashes were worse than they were, off of it, which estrogen is supposed to help you not have hot flashes. But with me, it was the total opposite reaction. So, yeah, it could be it's just starting, the mutation was there and it's just starting to act crazy. And that could be what caused my PMDD. But like I said, I don't truly believe that that's the only reason. The only thing that's going to make Ativan do is basically not work as long, maybe. Tolerance quicker than most people, but it doesn't stop the fact that benzodiazepines are highly addictive, highly sedative, and mess totally from your hair follicles to your toes. So, I mean, it doesn't change that aspect. So, again, I don't believe it's all based on that. So, excuse me, that was kind of my rant today. So sorry, guys. That was kind of my rant today, of going to the internalist this morning because, again, I mean, I'm not trying to get him to side with me on everything, but, I mean, being in the medical field as long as this man has, you would think he would know something about benzodiazepines other than saying, oh, they've been around forever. Well, that doesn't mean anything. And like I told him, people in my group, people in the Benzo Coalition, they're not just everyday people. And I'm not saying that our opinions aren't credible, but these are people, if you Google Benzo Coalition, these are people on the board who, they are doctors, they're psychiatrists, they are people in the medical field, they're everyday people. So they are backing everything we're saying. So it's got to stand for something. That's all I'm trying to say. So moving on from that, 8-month taper. 8 months as of, so let's kind of go back a little bit. I was put on 0.5 milligrams of Ativan once a day for panic and anxiety disorder that was chemically induced from having a total hysterectomy, October 1st of 2015. So, sorry guys, my lips are just so dry. I actually need to grab one sec. It's all this horrible, horrible drainage stuff. Again, I don't have allergies, and ever since benzos, I think it messes with the histamine because my nose, I'm always like clearing my throat. I'm always feeling like I'm stuffy. My ears are clogged. Like it's horrible. And even all the antibiotics in the world, they help, but they don't like stop it, which is weird because when I take antibiotics, normally I'm feeling great. So, okay, so getting back, so March 13th would have been my 8-month taper since I've been tapering. So I started at 0.5 milligrams of Ativan once a day. Again, I had surgery, and it stopped working about 11 months in. It's just total tolerance, sick as a dog, heart racing, just thinking I was literally dying, sent me through multiple ER visits, multiple doctors, I mean, just multiple everything. So where I'm at now, the biggest portion that I'm struggling with, which I didn't have a lot in the beginning, I got it, but it seems like it's a little more now, and that may be because I'm lowering, but is the DPR, which is depersonal, I can never say it. It's like depersonalization, basically, where you get thoughts that are not yours, because I've never had these before, Ativan, never. I was depressed, and I had general normal stuff that people deal with, like anxiety, that kind of stuff, but nothing that like stopped me from getting up every day and living. So let's just put it that way. So I'm getting them, like it used to be once a month. Now it's almost like once a week. And again, I don't know how much of that is connected with I'm tapering down. I'm down to, tomorrow I'll be at 50 milliliters left to taper, which is really nothing. And I think milligram wise, it comes up to like 0.09, which is it is a funky milligram number. I try to explain to my doctor like why I'm at that amount. But again, he won't get it. It's fine. There's certain things he's not going to understand. I'm just going to keep doing me, tapering safely in the way that I need to get off of this damn demon drug. So biggest problems and symptoms. Let's go over symptoms. So, forgetfulness is still there. Headaches, they were real bad for a good I think in the waves, they're worse. So in the waves, it's an everyday thing versus when I'm in a window, it may be like every other day or maybe throughout the day, but not for the whole day. So that's good. So they've come down some since now I'm in a wave. I'm in a window. I'm sorry, a window. I'm dealing with still sometimes when I go to like do things, I have 1,000 things in my head, like thinking about, I don't want to leave my kids. You know what I mean? And that may sound normal, but these thoughts are more racy. So I wouldn't say it's anxiety. I mean, maybe that's what they consider anxiety. I always consider anxiety more of the heart racing and maybe the panic attacks, but this is more of the racy thoughts. And I am in therapy. I've been in therapy for, this will be 9 weeks next week or maybe 10. I found an amazing therapist online. My health insurance does what's called Live MD. I'll put the link below. You don't have to leave your house. You can do your copays and get verified right online. It's all legit. People have, you know, therapists, psychiatrists. You can even see a regular doctor, like if you're not feeling good. It works for me because when I first started therapy, I did one session outside of a house with a different practice. And like, because I had the vision stuff going on, like where my vision was total vertigo. Like I would sit this close to somebody and it's like my eyes couldn't focus on their face. And if they were too close, it just made me really dizzy and nauseous to where I wanted to vomit. So I was like, okay, that's not a good idea. I need therapy, but I need to like do it, you know, from home. So when I called Blue Cross Blue Shield one day, they advised me that Live MD was a part of my husband's benefit package. And I was like, so shocked. I was like, this is awesome. So my therapist I've been with, I love her. She believes me. She is very understanding. She's teaching me in all the coping skills and everything I need. So a lot of the mental stuff, I feel like I have somebody on board with that. The other stuff that I don't like is still the, I'm sorry, I had a message pop up. I get very distracted. Okay, so was I talking about the bad? See, this is horrible. I don't remember if I was talking about the stuff that I still have or the stuff that I don't. Okay, the stuff that I have. So, okay, so I have that going on. Then I also get where some days, and this hasn't happened every day, but I almost feel like I'm back on Ativan. Like if you're to take it to go to sleep, let's say, you use it for a sedative to go to sleep, because I feel that wooziness like floating in my head, and I can feel zaps in the back of my brain, and it almost feels like someone's moving my skull, like not my skull, but like my brain. They're actually moving it from side to side. It's so weird. Like it's like I can feel, and maybe because it's sensations in the brain, but I can actually feel it like if somebody was to move it, like if it was movable. So I've got that going on. My vision is improved, but it's still where I'm sensitive to the sun. I've got to wear sunglasses and things of that nature. The vertigo is not that bad, thank God. Like I would sit in a doctor's office or walk down a hallway that was really long and slim. And if the rug was like a different pattern or the walls, like the geometrical like designs, my eyes, oh my gosh, they would bug out so bad that I'd literally have to leave the doctor's appointment because it was just vertigo. It was nauseousness. It was dizziness. It was like, oh my gosh, what is going on? So that has really decreased, thank God. The other thing, my sleep is a lot better. I know that I've always told y'all I've been on melatonin, but there was a time where I think, and this is all back to the sensitivity of the lights, that when you're so sensitive to lights and your body isn't fully asleep, when a light would be flickered on in the house, it would alert me to be up. So I would be up all night. So if it was 4 a.m, I'd be up from 4 to whatever. And as you guys know, when you don't sleep, you feel angry, agitated, sick stomach. You can't focus. You can't concentrate. Like you already feel so bad with no sleep, and then add benzo withdrawal to it or benzo tolerance, wherever you are right now, that makes it 1,000 times worse. So that, thank God, has slowed down. Sometimes I can't get to sleep, and that's if I am thinking about normal stuff that is bothering me. But for the most part, that's gone away. So, and again, I'm not a doctor. I'm not telling y'all to go take melatonin, but it saved me for 5 years. You know, not having hormones, not being able to sleep well. And I do believe a lot of it too, some was menopausal, but I do believe that a lot of it was the Ativan, because Ativan can cause insomnia. And then when I wake up, I feel like I'm wide awake. Like I'm not even tired when I wake up. That's not normal. Like that's what you see on movies, where people wake right up and they're just like wide-eyed and bushy-tailed, as they say. Like I'm not that type of person. I'm normally like, ugh. So I know that a lot of that has to do with the Ativan, because I feel high. Like I feel just alert, like boom. Although, you know, you would think not so much because I have a concentration problem, but no, like you feel wide-eyed. Like if you're on benzos, you know exactly what I'm talking about. You just never feel tired, and I don't feel tired until I take melatonin. So I don't nap, I don't do things like that, because I can't take melatonin during the day, because I will be, you know, drowsy because I don't sleep during the day. So, okay, so yeah, but really a lot of it is just, I can't really pinpoint and tell y'all like this symptom, that symptom. Most of it is just like if I sit here too long, my spine starts to feel really numb, like almost like burning, but numb. My pit stomach stuff stopped, thank God. I'm not on probiotics anymore. Some foods will send me, sorry TMI, but will send me to the bathroom. And again, I don't know if that could be the methylfolation problems, you know, in some of the benzos still, but I'm not taking benzo, or I'm not taking probiotics anymore. So that's a positive. I'm not nauseous every day. That was one of my biggest symptoms, was stomach problems, nauseated all the time. So this is how I know most of it is benzo related, because now that I'm tapering down, the symptoms are tapering down. Common sense. No offense to anybody, but just saying. So that's gone away a lot. I still do watch what I eat though, because I notice even on a normal, like processed foods, I don't think it sets well with anybody, to be real. Does it taste good? Is it quick, easy, and convenient? Yeah. But is it good for you? Probably not. But I do binge on certain things. I mean, I'm not a health nut. I'm not vegan. I enjoy pork chops, and I enjoy chicken, and I enjoy vegetables and all kinds of fruits. I do eat, you know, popcorn and ice cream like anybody else does, but I don't believe it's eating it. I believe it's quantity, and also, you know how much of it you're eating is, I guess, what I mean. Like that, anything can be bad for you. So, but yeah, so those symptoms have kind of faded. I do feel more like my feelings are coming back. But then you can catch me on a day where I'm having a wave, and I may tell you, I feel awful. So again, it just depends on the day that you ask me. Am I in a window? Am I in a wave? It really does make a difference, because when I'm in a wave, it's like everything just comes back. Like all the memories come back of when I was so bad, before tapering, intolerance. Like it really is. So, but what I try to do, and maybe this can help anybody going through this, is look at where you were to where you are. I know this is so hard for the people that don't feel any better though, so I don't know if this is really going to be helpful to you. But for those people that are feeling windows and waves like I am, try to seriously like look at where you were, because I have to do that a lot. I have to sit here and be like, okay, Melissa, you got a real shit wave going on right now. Like you're in a shit storm. Like no joke. But you know what? You're not going through the worst part of it where you were intolerance. Like I told you guys, I woke up, and I kid you not, you know, my heart was probably over 200. Like seriously. And I know from being in nursing, 60 to 90 is normal when you're resting. So yeah. I mean, it was enough to send an internal doctor to send me home with a heart monitor, send me to a sonogram, and to send me through an EKG at his office. So that's kind of my point. I try to look at, and this is something that I cannot stress enough to you guys, the more that I sit in this house, the more that I focus on my symptoms, I become what I'm thinking. And I never thought, like your brain for real through this, just even learning my own brain, even without benzos, is like, whoa. Because I cannot believe I could sit in a room right now in the group, and the groups are great, don't get me wrong, but when you're triggered, it's a day or a week that you need to limit yourself. And I've told you guys, in a video in the past on my benzos do's and don'ts. Also on my video about, support groups and how they're helpful and how they also can not be helpful. So you might want to go, and I might want to link them down below, but excuse me. But yeah, I mean, seriously, like just yesterday, so I was in a wave, kind of not feeling the greatest, went into a benzo group, everything hit me. Like I could feel the anxiousness. I could feel like I'm not going to make it. Like everything started getting really, really deep and really, really dark, and it wasn't fun. So I had to pull myself out of that. And what I'm telling y'all is, if I can pull myself out of that and I can make myself be what I feel, we have a whole lot of control on this right here. A whole lot more control than we're even aware of. If I would have known all this, even through therapy, I would have never gone on benzos. I just thought because of my surgery, and I had anxiety when I was younger and depression, that there was nothing else that could be done for me but medicine. So that's why I gladly took what they gave me and didn't even question it. But I'm telling you, I have stopped so many panic attacks, anxiety attacks, just with the thinking changing. Because your body, think of it, when your body feels like it's in danger and you're about to have an anxiety attack, it does all the stuff it's supposed to do. It revs the body up, cortisol levels start to rise, adrenaline starts to go up, your body feels like it's in fight to flight, it feels like it needs to protect itself, so your body goes insane. But it's doing what it's supposed to do. Although you're not supposed to have anxiety like that when you're not in danger. Maybe that portion is not, supposed to happen. But you can actually self-talk yourself right out of a panic and anxiety attack. Like, that is an amazing thing. So please, when you feel powerless, you have way more power than you think you do. The more you fear, and the more you fear the fear of fearing symptoms and fearing benzo, or fearing anything in that matter in life, you're always going to be afraid of everything. Everything's going to be bigger than it really seems, because your body is doing what it should do when you're in a state of fear and shock. But your body's not supposed to be like that every day. That's the problem. And that's where, when you start to take back who you are, your mind, your soul, everything, these things do stop. And I can vouch for it, because whether people believe me or not, I'm proof. I almost had a panic attack today at my doctor's office. My hands, I was standing in line with like the clipboard, when you write all the information and give them the clipboard back. I was standing there in line, and my hands, I was telling my husband, were sticky. They were getting clammy. I'm like, I can't do this. I was standing up there going, I can't do this. I can't do this. But I noticed the more that I was being negative, the more the heart started going. Everything started going. The more that I started breathing through my nose, out my mouth, because I didn't realize when you take breaths through your mouth, you're actually taking in more oxygen and making the lungs work harder. The best thing to do is breathe through your nose and in and out than it is to breathe through your mouth. And guess what? I didn't have a panic attack today or an anxiety attack. I thought I was going to. I literally thought I was going to, but I didn't. But I know if I kept making myself and thinking that I was going to die and I'm going to pass out and this is going to be a mess and this is going to happen and that's going to happen, I probably would have collapsed on the floor, just like I did all the other times that I've had anxiety. So all I'm trying to say, guys, is you can live without medicine, whether you think so or not. The feeling that you're feeling now from benzo tolerance is because it's not working anymore. And if this pill was so great and worked so much, then why are we on increased doses? Why are we feeling when it's not working anymore at the increased dose, we need more and more and more and more, but when does it stop? When does the milligram increase stop when you can no longer have any more? And then where are you stuck at? On another antipsychotic? I mean, it's not the way to live. I don't want to live like that. And I surely don't want to live where something is controlling me every single day. So, and honestly, like I said, as I always say, I didn't mean to make this video, so long. But I wanted to kind of touch today on my appointment and just, kind of how I was feeling, because I was feeling like, I love my doctor, but I don't really think he believed me. You know, I mean, maybe he did believe me and he's just old school where he wants to make sure we're not blaming it all on benzo because then he could miss something. And he's an amazing doctor. He really, really is. It's just sad to see all the doctors that I've been to, their take on benzos. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's sad. It's really sad because people are being told, oh, it's your thyroid. You have bladder problems. You know, you went through chemo. You went through massive surgery. You've had loss in your life. You know, like me, I went through surgery. It was a pretty extensive surgery, as they call it. But honestly, I don't think my bones are aching because I don't have hormones. I've gone through a DEXA scan, which they scan the whole body, and it actually shows if there's like shrinkage and things like that. My calcium levels are perfect. So, you know, I don't believe that's what it's from. I really believe that this all started with benzo after my surgery, intolerance, and now I'm tapering. Because why are my symptoms lessening if it's not benzo? So, but like I said, guys, you know, I'm just trying to be as positive as I can. Again, I may look put together on the outside. That does not mean that I'm not hurting on the inside or somebody else isn't. You know, I had a doctor's appointment today. I had to get myself up, motivated, dressed, you know, and do what I needed to do to make it there today. But, you know, for me, in bed is not an option. It just isn't. I get more DPR in bed. I get more aching and muscle pains in bed. I feel worse in bed, mentally, physically, emotionally, all of it. I feel worse. When I get up, things start to alleviate. So that tells me bed is not the place for me. It may be for you. I'm not judging you. I'm not judging you. You know where you are right now and what you need to do to make you better. I'm just trying to merely give my perspective on my experience in 4 years and where I've come and what I've learned from myself, from others, and just what's working. So, like I said, you know, this is kind of a 2-part video. I didn't want to have to make 2 different videos and make it all complicated or whatnot, because who knows, tomorrow I could be in a wave. I don't try to, that's another word of advice, take hour by hour, day by day. Do not try to live week and month and years, because you will depress yourself. You will feel like you don't know where you're going to be in a year from now, 6 months from now. Take day by day and make it through the day. If you can do one thing positive throughout the day, that's a huge success. Huge success. That's way more than maybe what some other people are doing. Don't down yourself. Don't allow the anger that you feel because you were polydrugged or because you were lied to about benzos or any other drugs that you may be taking. This video is for anybody in that fact. Anybody who's ever been stuck on a drug that's controlled their life. You. Do what works for you, as long as it's not putting you in danger and it's helping you get off these drugs to be a better person. Take day by day, hour by hour. Do not try to push yourself because you're comparing yourself to other people who are healing differently. Maybe you're healing differently than me. Maybe you're doing better than me. Maybe you're doing worse than me. Do not compare yourself to other people. I've learned that that's the wrong thing to do in this whole experience, and I won't do it because I'm me, you are you. We are not the same. We are genetically made up differently. Some of us have, you know, other things that we're struggling with that may not be helping this process. So please love yourself, love others, share awareness, let people know that it's real, that it's there, and we're not going to be silenced until somebody listens to our truth and our story. Because eventually it's going to be put out there, and eventually I'm praying that this epidemic of benzodiazepines stops. I love you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later. Bye.